The Wi-Fi you're using today? It all started with a war. Black holes, radar, and Aussie genius. Meet the forgotten fathers of Wi-Fi. What if the internet's greatest invention came from World War II secrets? This isn't Silicon Valley, it's outback science that changed the world. Welcome to TFC, Tech and Finance Code. In this documentary, we'll uncover the little-known story of how the most important invention of modern connectivity, Wi-Fi, wasn't born in a shiny Silicon Valley lab, but in the dusty corridors of war research and astrophysics deep in Australia. This is the history they don't teach you. From radar waves in World War II to lawsuits over billions in royalties, the truth is hidden in plain sight. Buckle in, because the tech you rely on every second of your life, it started with a black hole. Let's rewind to the early 1940s. World War II is raging across continents, and nations are scrambling to gain technological advantages. Among the most critical technologies, radar, short for radio detection and ranging, was being developed to detect enemy aircraft, submarines, and missiles from a distance. But radar was far from perfect. Signals bounced, reflected off surfaces, and created what engineers called multipath interference, where the same signal arrives at the receiver at different times due to reflection from buildings, mountains, or even planes. This confused systems and scrambled data. In Australia, a newly formed organization was rising to meet the challenge. The Commonwealth Scientific and Industrial Research Organization, or CSIRO. Founded in 1926 and rapidly evolving during the war, CSIRO was Australia's answer to wartime innovation. Their early mission was refine radar, solve the echo problem, and make radio waves reliable in the most unpredictable environments. Enter John O'Sullivan, a radio astronomer with a passion for the cosmos. In the 1970s and 80s, he wasn't working on phones or networking. He was trying to detect radio signals from evaporating black holes, a theoretical prediction from Stephen Hawking. To capture the weakest signals in the universe, O'Sullivan had to solve one major issue: how to filter out interference caused by signal reflections. O'Sullivan, born in 1946 in Victoria, Australia, had always been fascinated by space and radio waves. He studied at the University of Sydney, earning degrees in electrical engineering and physics. He spent years working in radio astronomy and was known for his precision and persistence. He had a mind tuned to the subtle signatures of the cosmos, where milliseconds and microfrequencies could mean the difference between noise and discovery. His career included time at the Dutch Radio Astronomy Institute, ASTRON, and later at CSIRO, where he focused on high-speed data processing and digital signal enhancement. To help him in this work, O'Sullivan was joined by fellow CSIRO scientists Terry Percival, Diethelm Ostry, Graham Daniels, and John Dean. Terry Percival was a telecommunications engineer with a deep understanding of signal processing. Born in 1947, Percival studied at the University of Sydney and worked on projects related to telecommunication transmission systems. He had been exploring how signals could be compressed, expanded, and reconstructed. His insights into signal behavior and distortion were essential to the team's ability to build practical models from abstract mathematical frameworks. He later became a director of the Telecommunications and Industrial Physics Division at CSIRO. Diethelm Ostry, originally from Switzerland, moved to Australia and joined CSIRO with expertise in applied mathematics, control theory, and adaptive systems. He specialized in developing algorithms that could dynamically respond to complex and chaotic signal environments. His background in creating robust systems under noisy conditions helped shape the adaptability of the Wi-Fi signal protocol. Graham Daniels, with a strong background in system engineering, focused on turning theoretical models into functional prototypes. He ensured that everything designed on paper was feasible with existing hardware. Daniels coordinated interdisciplinary efforts, making sure the algorithms and signal theories were matched with proper engineering design. John Dean, a hardware and RF systems specialist, brought the equations to life. He had deep expertise in radio frequency circuit design and implementation. His job was to make sure that the mathematical principles, especially FFT, could be executed in real-time hardware environments with the least signal loss and highest fidelity. Together, this team tackled the problem of multipath interference with a powerful mathematical approach, fast Fourier Transform, or FFT. FFT is a technique that breaks down complex signals into simpler frequencies. It allowed them to separate signal reflections and reconstruct the original transmission clearly. In other words, they cracked the code of clean, high-speed data transfer through radio waves. Unbeknownst to them, their black hole problem would become the world's Wi-Fi solution. The world moved forward. In the 1990s, as laptops and computers were becoming everyday tools, the demand for wireless networking skyrocketed. The Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, IEE, launched the 802.11 standard in 1997, the foundation of Wi-Fi. Suddenly, the technique CSIRO had developed decades earlier to clean up space signals became incredibly relevant. Their FFT-based solution solved the exact issue faced by wireless networks: multi-path interference in indoor environments. But there was a catch. The big tech companies, Apple, Intel, HP, Dell, began using Wi-Fi in their devices. Many of them used CSIRO's patented technology without paying. CSIRO took a bold step. They sued. In the early 2000s, the organization launched patent infringement cases across the globe. It was David versus Goliath, but this time, David had a radio wave. After years of legal battles, settlements started to roll in. CSIRO won cases against major corporations and eventually secured over $1 billion in royalties. Their innovation, once ignored, had finally been validated, not just in the lab, but in court. So why don't we know these names? Why does the world credit Silicon Valley with creating Wi-Fi? Because history often forgets the quiet ones. John O'Sullivan, Terry Percival, and their colleagues weren't seeking fame. They were scientists solving a problem. They weren't CEOs. They were researchers. Even after their massive court victories, global media barely mentioned them. Headlines read, "Apple revolutionizes wireless," not "Australia's CSIRO wins patent battle." The lack of recognition speaks to a broader issue: how non-American inventors are often overshadowed in tech history. Their impact is erased, their stories buried. Even today, most documentaries and tech retrospectives fail to mention that the backbone of Wi-Fi was built in Australia by physicists studying black holes. Today, Wi-Fi is everywhere. It connects more than 20 billion devices worldwide. It powers our homes, our offices, our airplanes, schools, hospitals, and smartphones. From remote villages to urban skyscrapers, Wi-Fi is as essential as electricity. It enables video calls, online education, smart fridges, IoT sensors, AR glasses, and cloud computing. It's the unseen force behind modern productivity and communication. And it all came from a team of Australian scientists trying to listen to the stars. CSIRO didn't stop with Wi-Fi. Today, the organization leads research in 5G, space communication, quantum computing, and Li-Fi, light-based wireless data transfer. Wi-Fi itself continues to evolve. Wi-Fi 6 is faster and more efficient. Wi-Fi 7 is coming. The future includes seamless augmented reality, real-time holograms, and cities fully powered by wireless infrastructure. And behind all this, a radar fix from World War II, refined by a team no one expected to change the world. John O'Sullivan today is honored with international awards, including the Prime Minister's Prize for Science in Australia. Terry Percival was awarded the CSIRO Medal and was appointed Officer of the Order of Australia. Austri, Daniels, and Dean continue to be recognized in engineering circles, but their names still lack the recognition they deserve in popular culture. Because sometimes, the greatest innovations don't come from billion-dollar campuses. They come from minds driven by curiosity, staring into black holes, and accidentally changing the world. Let's rewind once more to the moment CSIRO filed their original patent in the early 1990s. It was brilliant, ahead of its time, and completely ignored. Back then, wireless networking was still considered niche. Most people connected to the internet through dial-up modems. Mobile phones were still bricks. And data, well, it moved at a snail's pace. CSIRO's FFT-based solution was patented, but almost nobody saw the potential. The industry simply wasn't ready. For nearly a decade, that patent gathered dust. But when IEE approved the 802.11 standard, everything changed overnight. Wireless suddenly became essential. Companies like Apple and Intel rushed to adopt Wi-Fi without bothering to check where the underlying tech came from. CSIRO had the patent, but they almost missed the gold rush. This chapter of history shows how timing is everything. Had it not been for a few CSIRO lawyers who believed in the cause and a few persistent scientists pushing for recognition, Wi-Fi's true inventors might have never seen a cent. That billion-dollar courtroom victory, it was nearly lost in a filing cabinet. While CSIRO fought legal battles in courtrooms, a quieter war was unfolding behind the scenes, a cold war of intellectual property. Tech companies around the globe were scrambling to build wireless products without infringing on patents, or worse, getting sued. The Wi-Fi space became a legal minefield. Private firms tried to create their own workarounds. Engineers attempted to rewrite protocols to bypass CSIRO's claims. Lobbyists worked behind closed doors to pressure governments to challenge Australia's patent validity. But CSIRO held strong. wrong. In fact, their technology was so deeply embedded in the 802.11 standard that it became impossible to remove. It wasn't just a piece of the puzzle, it was the blueprint. This behind-the-scenes pressure from billion-dollar corporations proves just how valuable and foundational CSIRO's work really was. Despite international resistance, Australia stood its ground and rewrote the rulebook on how public research can claim its place in the commercial world. Here's a question that keeps historians up at night. Could Wi-Fi have arrived sooner? After all, radar existed in the 1940s. FFT mathematics had been around since the 1960s. Computers were getting faster. So why did it take until the late 1990s for wireless networking to explode? The answer lies in convergence. No single breakthrough is enough. You need fast processors, cheap transistors, compact antennas, and standard protocols. You need market demand and government regulation. You need universities, engineers, and visionaries all aligned. CSIRO had the brains, but the world wasn't ready. That's the tragedy and the poetry of innovation. Sometimes genius arrives early and must wait patiently for the world to catch up. Thanks for watching TFC Tech and Finance Code. We hope you enjoyed uncovering the hidden story behind Wi-Fi. If you want more deep tech history, forgotten genius, and stories that shaped our digital world, subscribe, like, and stay tuned. Because here at TFC, we decode tech's past, present, and future. Stay curious, stay sharp, stay connected with TFC.